Hi everyone and welcome. This is John Latigo introducing you to an alternative football coaching course. If you're a football coach or a football player aged 18 to 35, or even a football fan who is interested in knowing how the game is played, this course is for you. I'm sure you know how difficult and expensive it is to access the elite football coaching licenses or badges provided by the football governing bodies such as the UEFA for Europe, the CAF for Africa, the AFC for Asia, the CONCACAF for North and Central America and the Caribbean, or the OFC, the Oceania. But financial barriers shouldn't stop you from reaching the high performance level when there is a free football coaching course available like this one. Today I'm introducing this course to set you on your way to reaching your final goal of becoming a football coach. This course was created to bridge the gap between youth development and the adult high-performance football. In this course, we are going to cover 7 critical modules from the evolution of the sport and the elite technique to the game modules, periodization, and even sports nutrition. So before we dive into this lesson, please hit the subscribe button and join our community of coaches. Now let's get started with the training.
If you're a football coach or an ambitious player, you know the traditional path to the top can feel like you're just hitting a brick wall. The licenses, the money, the politics, it's a lot. But what if there was another way? Today, we're going to break down a whole new roadmap for high-performance coaching that could honestly change the entire game. And wow, this quote from John Ross Latigo, it really just says it all, doesn't it? This whole idea that your bank account shouldn't be the thing that decides how far you can go in coaching, that's the engine behind this entire approach. It's all about letting your talent and your passion lead the way. All right, so what's the big hurdle we're actually talking about here? Well, for so many talented coaches and players, especially when you're in that critical 18 to 35 age range, there's just this massive wall that stops you from getting to the truly elite level of the sport.
And this is basically what that wall looks like. Getting those top-tier licenses you need for the pro clubs, it costs an absolute fortune, and it can be a total logistical nightmare. It's the kind of system that, unfortunately, can just kill a promising coaching career before it even gets off the ground.
But, where there's a problem, there's usually a pretty innovative solution. And in this case, the solution is all about building a bridge, something that helps passionate people get across that huge gap and into the world of elite football. And here is it. This is that bridge, the alternative football coaching course. You see, it's specifically designed to connect the dots. It takes all those foundational skills you learn coaching younger players, and it levels them up for the complex, super high-pressure demands of adult professional football. It just creates a much more direct, accessible pathway. So how is this bridge actually built? Well, it's put together with 7 core modules, and each one is a really critical step toward becoming an elite-level coach. Think of this less like a checklist and more like a complete roadmap to mastering the craft. And here's the journey all laid out. It starts up here in the mind with your philosophy, then it gets into the body and the ball, before it builds out to team strategy, long-term planning, and finally, the fuel that makes the whole thing run. It really is a holistic approach, building a complete coach from the ground up. Everything starts with the foundation, right? Evolution and philosophy. Now, this is not some boring history lesson. It's about understanding the game's DNA, how it got to where it is today, so you can figure out your own coaching identity and answer the single most important question you'll ever face: what is my why? So once you've got your why figured out, the next module is all about elite technique. And the key word here is pressure. This isn't about just doing drills in a vacuum. It's about perfecting that technique until it's totally automatic, until it holds up when the game is a blur of professional speed and every single touch matters. Okay, so once the technique is mastered under pressure, you have to understand the engine. Module 3, Performance Factors, basically turns you into an analyst. You're going to learn to break down the physical and, just as important, the mental traits that separate a good athlete from a truly elite professional. And this is where you get to be the architect. Module 4 is all about tactics. But it's not about scrambling for a new game plan every single week. It's about building a cohesive, repeatable system, a real identity that your team can believe in and execute with total conviction. Now look, a brilliant tactical system is completely useless if your players are burnt out or injured by March, and that's where periodization comes in. This is the science of planning a long, grueling season so that your team peaks at exactly the right time while keeping injuries to a minimum. This stuff is absolutely critical. And this is the day-to-day craft. Session planning is all about taking those big, brilliant ideas, your philosophy, your tactics, your fitness plan, and translating them into a razor-sharp, super effective 90 minutes on the training pitch. Every single minute has to have a purpose. And finally, we've got the fuel. I mean, you can have the best car in the world with the most skilled driver, but if you put the wrong gas in it, you are going nowhere fast. This module covers the science of nutrition to make sure your players have that elite-level energy to execute your vision. So we've seen the what of the course, the 7 modules. But now we really need to talk about its core philosophy, the why behind the entire program, because this is what takes it from being just a simple training course to a whole new way of thinking about coaching. This is such a simple but really profound idea. See, a good coach knows how to set up the cones for a drill. They can execute a plan. But a great coach understands why that drill is being run in the first place, how it connects to the team's identity, and how it makes every single player better. And that right there is really the central takeaway. It's like the golden thread that's woven through all 7 of those modules. If you can truly master your why, you're not just a coach running drills anymore. You're leading a movement, you're inspiring players, and you're building something that's actually going to last.
We've seen the problem, we've seen the solution, the whole 7-step curriculum, and the core philosophy behind it all. So now, let's kind of turn the focus to the most important part of this whole thing, your coaching journey.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. You can have all the drills and all the tactical knowledge in the world, but have you really, truly defined your why? Because finding that answer, it isn't just another piece of the puzzle, it might just be the one key that unlocks your entire future in coaching.
Today, we're going to cut through all the noise and give you a clear, powerful blueprint for understanding football. So whether you're a coach drawing up plays or a player out on the pitch, this framework, well, it's going to change how you see the game. Let's jump right in.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll take a quick look back at how the game got started. Then, we'll dive right into the heart of our framework, the 4 game situations. After that, we'll break down what to do with and without the ball, how to win those crucial transition battles, and finally, what it takes to build the complete modern player.
So first up, from pass to pitch. Before we can really map out a plan for the future, we have to understand the foundations of the past. So let's see where this game came from and what its objective has always been. Football's roots? Well, they go way, way back to these chaotic folk football games in medieval Europe. But the game we recognize today, that really started taking shape in 1863. That's when the Football Association in England wrote down the first official rules. And just a few decades later, in 1904, FIFA came along and got the whole world playing by the same rulebook. So with all the complex tactics and formations we see today, what's it all really about? Well, at its heart, football is beautifully simple. You've got 2 teams, 11 players each, 90 minutes on the clock, and just one clear goal. Put the ball in their net more times than they put it in yours. Simple as that. Everything else is built on that one idea. Okay, now we're getting to the core of this whole thing, the 4 game situations. I want you to think of this as a special lens, one that makes the beautiful chaos of a 90-minute match suddenly make perfect sense. Every single moment, every pass, every tackle fits into one of these 4 phases.
And here's the thing. These 4 situations aren't separate. They flow into each other in a constant cycle. It starts with the attacking phase, right, when you have the ball. The second you lose it, bam, you're in a negative transition. That leads to the defensive phase where your only job is to get that ball back. And when you do, you're in a positive transition with a chance to attack. The whole game is just a dance between these 4 moments.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It doesn't matter which of the 4 situations you're in, attacking, defending, or in those crucial moments in between, the main goal never changes. Every single thing a player does on the pitch is about one of 2 things, trying to score or trying to stop a goal.
All right, let's zoom in a little bit on the 2 main states of the game, being in possession and being out of possession. Each state has its own playbook, its own set of rules, and if you want to master the game, you absolutely have to understand both.
So, when you have the ball, your job is to create problems. You want to penetrate, break through their defensive lines. How do you do that? You use the whole field, stretch their defense with width and depth. You keep moving, keep supporting each other. But the second you lose that ball, everything flips. Now your job is to solve problems. You press hard to win it back. You stay compact so there's no space for them to play. And if you can't win it back right away, you slow them down just to give your team a chance to get back into shape.
Okay, now let's talk about the moments that really decide who wins and who loses. We're talking about transitions. Those few seconds right after the ball changes feet, they are often the most important moments in the entire match. The teams that win this battle usually win the game.
A positive transition is pure opportunity. Think about it. You've just won the ball, and for a split second, the other team is out of position, disorganized. This is your chance. It's the perfect time to launch a lightning-fast counterattack and turn a great defensive play into a goal. But on the flip side, a negative transition is a moment of pure danger. You've just lost the ball, and now you're the one who's vulnerable. Every single player has to flip a switch in their head, instantly shifting from attack to defense to stop their counter before it even gets started.
So here's the key takeaway, the real secret. It's not just about what you do when you have the ball or when you don't. The best teams in the world, they are masters of the moments in between. They react the fastest because they've trained themselves to think as fast as they can run.
So we've talked about the team's blueprint, the big picture tactics, but what about the individuals? What does it take for a player to actually pull all this off? Let's open up the toolkit that every single modern player needs to have.
It really boils down to these 4 pillars. First, you have the technical skills, things like your first touch, your passing, your shooting. Then there's the tactical side, your decision-making, knowing where to be. Of course, you need the physical tools, speed, endurance, all of that. And finally, and maybe most importantly, the psychological strength, staying focused, being resilient, and keeping your cool when the pressure is on.
Look, the modern game demands complete players. You just can't be a one-trick pony anymore. If you want to make a real difference in all 4 phases of the game, attacking, defending, and those huge transition moments, you've got to be strong in all 4 of these areas. That's what separates the good from the great. So, we'll leave you with this challenge. Take this framework, this blueprint, and think about your own team or your own game. Where are your strengths, your weaknesses? Are you a team that wants to dominate possession? A team that's a defensive rock? Or are you masters of that chaotic, lightning-fast counterattack? The choice is yours. Now you have the blueprint to build it.
There you have it. That was Module 1, the evolution and philosophy of the game. I hope that session gave you a clear look at how we approach the transition to the elite level. Remember, understanding the why behind the game is what separates a good coach from a great one. In our next video, we'll dive deep into Module 2, the elite technique. I'm sure you wouldn't want to miss that. So please get yourself subscribed so that you don't miss the next drop. Please like and share our video, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I see you in the next lesson.